So that's a brief overview of the type. There's much more description about it in the book, and we will go through this more in the seminar that Marcy is helping us put on in Denver, and very much looking forward to that. The second of the three keys is what we call authority, decision-making. Now, again, how do we go about making decisions? Well, depending on the family you grow up in and the background and the schooling and the teachers and the books and all that kind of stuff, generally speaking, most people come out of school with the idea that they've got to try and think their way through life. You know, this is going to work, that's going to make sense, this is a good solution for this, this would be the right thing to do. And if that is the course that you take, you very quickly stumble. Because the mind, well, we found out the mind is split into two. There's a left side and a right side, and very occasionally the two sides meet and agree on something, but even if they do agree, there could always be the point, well, you turned left at this part of the road, but you actually could have turned right. So the mind never really comes to a particular still point, ever. It's always questioning, well, you made this decision, now what do you do? So mental satisfaction is a bit of a stretch sometimes. And so what we find in everybody's human design chart is there is a specific, what we call authority or decision-making process that you can recognize in your chart. And it tells you exactly how to make decisions that are right for you every time. And what a miracle that is when you start getting clear and comfortable in how you make decisions. It leads to much more fulfilling experiences in life because you have an inbuilt confidence. Yep, I made the clear decision. That was absolutely right for me in that situation. And what's amazing is when you start making these decisions that are absolutely clear, according to your nature, it has a ripple effect into everybody else's life. That everybody else can see, yes, this person always makes decisions, I can be clear with them. They make decisions according to their nature. And so there's that whole new level of harmonious interactions that takes place. So in the Human Design life chart, there are 6 different ways to make decisions. And in our own life chart, we only have one of these. So there's a kind of pecking order. There's emotional clarity. People that have a defined emotion center, a colored-in emotion center in their chart, they have emotions authority. Then there's the sacral authority, people that have a gut response to anything that confronts them. There is a splenic authority, people that have this authority, they make instant snap decisions. That's it, done deal, next. Then there are people that have heart authority, willful clarity, and they work things out attuning to their heart, what they want in life. There is self-authority, and self-authority comes from a sensation. This is I'm talking about a very small minority of people have this self-authority, but it's what I would describe as a joyful clarity. They just get a sense that something's right for them. And then the last of these 6 authorities is what we call outer authority, and this authority requires a 29-day review, and I'll explain a bit more about this in a moment. So looking at the first of these authorities, the emotions authority, and that's for anybody that has this brown triangle center colored in on their chart here. Emotions authority. What we say about emotions authority? Patience. All right, it's a lifetime of learning patience. And the clarity, the emotional clarity, is what we find is with this emotion center, anybody that's got this center colored in, and we see this beautifully experientially in our seminars and workshops, that anybody who's got this emotion center colored in, they are always moving through emotional waves. Sometimes the waves go up, and inevitably what goes up has to go down. So their mood goes up, they're in a good mood, and then sooner or later the mood's going to go down. And they're going to hit the bottom of the wave, and then the wave's going to come back up again. And so the clarity for somebody with this emotion center colored in, because you can't just make a decision because you're in a good mood, because who knows, you may be in a bad mood when you're actually putting that decision into action. So what we say to people with a defined emotion center, colored in emotion center, be patient, and recognize that your clarity comes when you're not attached to how something's going to turn out or how you're going to feel when something turns out. That you're in it for the ride, you're in it for the feeling clarity of it all, not attached to outcomes. We find, depending on the particular connections that happen to this center here, some emotional waves are smooth, others are more abrupt and unpredictable. And when somebody understands this about their nature, they can start making absolutely clear emotional decisions in their life. They go very high, they go very deep, and they capture the full spectrum of whatever's possible in that decision for when they make that decision. How long does it take to get emotional clarity? It can take a few minutes. If you're really clear emotionally, it can take hours, weeks, even months. And what we say to people with emotions center colored in, be patient. The patience pays off. Because when you make a 100% clear emotional decision, nothing can stop you. Then, for people who have this red square center, the generator center colored in, but they don't have the emotion center colored in, they have what we call sacral authority. And they have to wait for a gut response. A gut response comes out of the lower belly, and it's a pure response. So I'll give you an example of the noise that comes with a gut response. As somebody asks you something and you hear yourself go, uh-huh, or something like that, or you feel a resonance in your lower belly. That sounds interesting to me. And it's basically giving you a green light. Proceed. Interesting. Or you can hear this, not interesting. And the energy in the lower belly shuts down. The beauty of this gut response is it's pure. There's no mental interactions. There's no should, could, would, might, must. There's none of that stuff. It's just a pure energetic response. And it works very well for people when they're asked questions that either have a yes or a no answer. Are you interested in this? Apparently yes. And what we find for people that have this sacral center and this sacral response like this is that actually they have the easiest path to enlightenment. All they have to do is respond from their lower belly, and life guides them perfectly. Of course, there can be a real push sometimes. I've got all this energy, I need to do something with it. And what we say for people with the sacral response, allow yourself to wait for that gut response. The third authority we look at is people that don't have this emotion center colored in, they don't have the sacral center colored in, but they do have the spleen center on the left side of the chart colored in, and they have this instantaneous sensing. Instant, click, spontaneous. There are three senses that run through here, the sense of taste, the sense of intuition, and the sense of instinct. And depending on which of these channels are colored in here, we would read which of these senses that the person uses. The sense of taste, for instance, is not just about putting something on your tongue and tasting it. It's also about walking into a room, and in the threshold of the room, does the sense of decor here suit my sense of taste? And it's instant. It's like a camera. Click, got it. It either works for me or it doesn't. It's either tasteful or not. And so meeting somebody, and you look at their outfit, is it a good combination? You walk into somebody's decorations, and is it done tastefully or not? Instantaneous. Intuition, does it sound right? Is the frequency of sound harmonious or not? So some people have a very powerful intuition. They can walk into an environment and immediately tell whether people in that environment are making the right noises. They can pick up the telephone and listen to what somebody's saying on the phone, and just in the inflections in that person's voice, they will know intuitively whether they're getting the full story or not. And then there are people that are instinctive, and instinct is very much about following your nose. It's literally about the smell of things. But, in the language we have these expressions, something smells fishy, I smell a rat. It's just an expression. My instinct's giving me a warning here. And so this is instantaneous sensing. It's spontaneous, very immediate.